So I got kind of an interesting job here. One of my neighbors asked me if I could weld this for him, and I'm not really sure what it's off of, but he needs this, which looks like a old school V-band clamp, and needs this welded in here. This is going to be kind of a nightmare because it's pretty, as you guys can see, old and nasty aluminum. So I'm going to try to show you guys how I'd clean this up the best I can and weld it. And it's not going to be perfect, but I think we'll be able to get it to where he can use it and it doesn't look too bad. But I'll show you guys how I'll prep all this stuff and clean it up and how we'll weld this. It's been sitting outside, so it's ice cold. So after I get it all cleaned up, I'm going to put it on a hot plate and heat it up. But we'll go through and start cleaning it. So now that we got all the surfaces as clean as we can get, I think a lot of this is like old baked oil that's been baked on this. I'm going to try to heat this up a little bit and see if some of it will bake off there and then clean it again. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. It's not perfect. A lot of that's going to burn out of there into the weld, but we're going to take that and clean that down with acetone and see how it looks. We'll let that cool down now and we'll see if some more of that will come off. I think it will. I've showed you guys this hot plate before. It works awesome for stuff like this. I'll turn it on and I'll just set this stuff on it. And then once this thing's good and hot, that'll help bake some of them impurities out of it also. So I'll go ahead and I'll throw some more heat in this. I kind of got it clamped here to the face of the table. I'll still hook the ground in here. But as you guys can see, I mean, that's a big gap. There's probably close to 3/16 of an inch of gap around that. I don't like doing things like this, but you know, that's how he wants it. So I'm gonna get a couple tacks on it here. Get it as square as I can get it. We'll throw some more heat in it and see, you know, we're probably gonna have to put a pass on there and clean it out and then put another pass on it. And hopefully we can make it look decent, but it's gonna be hard, as dirty as all this stuff is and as old as that casting is. The oil's embedded in the casting and everything else. You're just gonna fight it the whole time. Cast aluminum's tough anyways when it's brand new. So, you know, adding 10 years of use to it's only gonna make it worse. But we'll go ahead and get this set up, tacked in there, and see what happens. As you guys can see, it's really dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat that up pretty good and see how, we'll try to get a pass around there and just see how it's gonna weld. So now that we got one ugly looking pass in there, I'll go back and I'll clean all this real good and try to, you know, come back and get a nice bead in there and make it look decent. It's not gonna look good. I mean, this casting is just, you can see all kinds of stuff baking out of it. This is just filthy still. I'm gonna try to clean it. I'm probably gonna end up ruining a wire brush though, trying to clean that, but it is what it is. But you guys can see just how it's very crystally almost looking. And you get that a lot with cast. This is a 4043 filler rod, which tends to work really good with cast aluminum, but we're gonna clean this up and see what we can do. So I got this thing finished up. You know, I'm not real happy with it, but it's how this stuff goes. The cast aluminum, especially when it's a part like this that's been around a lot of oil, diesel fuel, exhaust, you know, everything on a diesel truck that's around these things just get embedded and baked into this stuff with all these heat cycles. And I mean, it welds like crap. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, I've yet to figure it out, but ended up putting a pass in there and cleaning it, putting another pass in there and kind of messing with it. And then, you know, it just nothing was really working out. And I put 2 more passes on there. I know it's not going to leak. I know it's going to work for him. You know, I'm not charging a guy for this. It's one of my neighbors. He's got some dump trucks and stuff, and you know, he's just trying to get the truck on the road. He could care less what it looks like, but it's one of them things to where some of this stuff is just, you know, when it comes to cast aluminum, it can be very tough to weld. And even, you know, I was thinking while I was welding these, even when these are brand new and I weld the V-bands on them or the vibrant clamps or whatever, they don't really weld that good when they're brand new. So I don't know what these castings are. If anybody knows, I'd love to know what number casting these are. But it seems like every wire I've tried on them, you know, about everything I've tried to do, I've taken these before and I, you know, turned the balance all the way, you know, way up on the cleaning side, electrode positive, and I'd try to just bake the stuff out. And it just seemed like as soon as you started adding filler wire, you were just drawing more and more the junk that's in the casting out. So where I ended up running the machine that seemed to work really good for me was I ran 60 hertz on this. I started out at 120 and the puddle was kind of stiff, so I dropped it down to 60 hertz. And it almost feels like at 60 hertz that puddle wets out more into the casting. I ended up running the balance at 35% electrode positive is where I ended up being. I just ran straight argon on these, about 18 CFH on a number 6 cup. But I wasn't gonna make this video, and I thought, you know what? There's somebody out there that can watch this and realize, hey, he struggles with these cast aluminums too. It's one of them things that I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can do it really good. I've yet to figure it out. And I would take advice from people if they can give it. But I got a really good video coming up here this weekend. I'm going to try to do a video for you guys on gas lenses versus standard cup on aluminum. I've done a ton of research here the last couple weeks, and I've actually learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. But it should be a good video. I'll give you guys my honest opinion on the two and the differences that I've learned and I've came up with. So I hope you guys like this one. Like and subscribe.